Joined now by criminal defense attorney and longtime friend of the show, Mark Geragos. And Mark has defended someone like this before, a young woman accused of killing her own newborn baby. Okay, Mark, so many questions. The charges she's facing right now: abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, concealing the birth of an infant, but not murder. Tell me what the next steps are and why a murder charge may or may not be forthcoming.
My guess is, and it's a wild speculation, they cannot prove that this wasn't a stillborn. And if that's the case, if they can't prove that, then they can't get to murder. That was in the case I had, was dismissed not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, because every single time we went to a hearing, prosecution was unable to prove that there was a live birth. If you can't prove a live birth, you can't get to murder. And you know, the charges that they've got right now, I won't venture a guess, but it generally concedes that. And unless they've got something or that she is hiding or that they don't know about yet, I think this is about as much as they're going to be able to charge her with.
So sadly, in my very long career, I have covered, you know, somewhere closing in on a dozen cases like this. That's just so sad. But I know that when the autopsy comes back, they will try to determine if the child aspirated oxygen, which would indicate live birth. You can't aspirate until you're out of the birth canal and in the air. But that doesn't say that the baby doesn't die right there on the floor, because a young woman is terrified and doesn't call a hospital and does all the wrong things, but doesn't murder the baby. How do you get to that? Like, how do you get past that?
Well, you've hit precisely what I found. I was surprised when I first did this 15 years ago or whatever and did a complete survey, kind of like what you've done journalistically, and saw that it is more frequent. It's not frequent, but it's certainly not rare. And this happens. Oftentimes, the woman does not know that she was pregnant. Oftentimes, they then have the pathologist try to do various things, usually with the lungs, to see whether or not in the autopsy of the lungs, as you stated, whether there's evidence that there was oxygen, or that it had been oxygenated, or the alveolar sacs had been used, or something along those lines. If they can't prove that, if they can't get to that point, then they're not going to get to a murder charge. And
Hey, Mark,
in some cases, I saw, like you did, manslaughters.
Okay, sorry, I've got about 5 seconds left, but I really need to know if you have an idea of what abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant might yield in terms of years in prison. If they don't get to murder, but they do get these charges, how much time could she serve?
Well, theoretically, she could go to prison. Practically, this is a probation case if she pleads.
So interesting. I got to have you back. It's good to see you. Thank you for this.
Good to see you too. Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.